What is going on, guys? I'm Director Nat, back for another reaction, and today we are checking out Arcane Season 2, Episode 1. So obviously I am very excited for Arcane Season 2. I reacted to Arcane Season 1 back in 2022. You can check that out up there if you want to. And over the past couple days, I have been rewatching Arcane Season 1 on 4K Blu-ray, which looks amazing, by the way, and I can't believe I almost forgot just how excellent this show is in pretty much every way. And here's the back slip cover too. Stupid light. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into this. I even broke out my classic red shirt for the occasion. No, not that red shirt. God, you start reacting to Star Trek and they just don't leave you alone. And yeah, I think this was also the shirt that I reacted to for the first episode of Arcane all the way back in 2022, so I guess it's fitting that I'm wearing it for Season 2, Episode 1. Oh, and before I forget, you can see that I've finally added some things to my background. I'm probably going to expand it, like I've got a couple of posters that I need to get out of storage that I used to have at my old place, but I just haven't gotten them yet, so I kind of threw up some things that I either got at Comic-Con a couple weeks ago or some other things lying around. Got this cool illustration of Rorschach by an artist whose name I am forgetting at the moment. I think his name is Glenn, but I could be getting that wrong. But yeah, he made that, and I got a bunch of his books and comic issues and some of his art. And I haven't had a chance to start reading this yet, but his wife wrote this book, and I really like the cover on it, so I'm keeping that here. Got my favorite Pokemon of all time, little Squirtle plushie. And then I'm really upset because I did get this really awesome poster of Rogue that is absolutely beautiful, and I really wanted to hang it up, and I kind of mentioned it in one of my Star Trek reactions, but unfortunately it's a little risque, and the way it's drawn, I just feel that if I put it in this spot, it would be a little too distracting, so I may show it at some point, but I don't think I'm going to hang it up. Although I do have this Rogue action figure from X-Men 97, which I'm still getting caught up on X-Men, the animated series, before I watch X-Men 97, but I still really love Rogue in pretty much every incarnation. Then I got Cade Skywalker from the Star Wars Legacy comic series, which is really great. It's set like over 100 years after Return of the Jedi. And yeah, since I couldn't put up that Rogue poster just so I have a beautiful woman up on my wall, I got this Wonder Woman comic and then a couple of custom pieces of art from another comic artist who was there. Forgetting the names. I met a lot of people at that Comic-Con. It's hard to keep track of everyone. I haven't had a chance to start diving into all their stuff. But yeah, it's not much for right now, but it's, you know, at least adds a little bit of life and color to my background of what is mostly just a gray wall. But eventually I'll get more stuff. But yeah, Arcane is excellent in pretty much every way. Obviously, the animation is groundbreaking and gorgeous to look at. But what I really appreciated when rewatching is just how good the writing is, like consistently good. The overall structure of the season is so perfect with so many parallels, callbacks, things coming full circle. It's almost like poetry. Almost every character, plot line has good setup and payoff. All actions have consequences. Basically, it's just a prime example of how a TV show should be written. And while it would have been easy for the creative team to give into the temptation of just going overboard with all the magic, the steampunk, the sci-fi, the fantasy elements, I really do appreciate that it is a very character-focused show and always uses these elements to elevate the story, which is awesome. And now here we are 2 years later. Well, actually, I guess it's 3 years later if you actually watch the show in 2021 when it originally came out. It's been 3 years now. I've only had to wait 2 years, but even then it still feels like a really long time. I actually can't see the episode title right now because it looks like it's going to do a Season 1 recap first, which I think I'm just gonna watch anyway because I like to see how they edit those and just help refresh my memory on anything that's directly relevant to this upcoming episode. But I think it was called Heavy is the Crown, which seems appropriate because given how season 1 ended, everyone's going to be in a very tense political situation with the possibility of war, so whoever has to be in charge of this whole mess is really going to be in for a difficult time. But yeah, the ending of last season, the entire council presumably being killed, so many characters that we had gotten to know just gone like that. And so, yeah, I didn't have time to like do a predictions video or anything, but I did quickly jot down some notes and predictions, just some general ideas I have for what could happen this season. So starting off with the explosion, Jinx launching the missile at the council chambers, I suspect that they are going to commit to that because that would be the most emotionally devastating after that ending. And I think if anybody survives, it's probably going to be Victor because he started experimenting on himself with that dark magic in season 1 and it was kind of starting to change his body. And you know, that one scene where it was like really taking hold of him, Sky tried to save him and he was fine, but she completely disintegrated. So I have to say, if anyone has a chance of surviving the explosion, and seeing their fellow councilmen and friends killed, it would probably be Victor. That would be my guess. And if that's the case, it would be interesting if he, like, I don't know who's going to be in charge once everything happens, but it could be Victor because he's Jace's partner and Jace had basically become the de facto leader of the council, so that could be interesting seeing Victor not only dealing with his magic problem and his guilt over getting Sky killed, but now he has to lead the very council that is now maybe going to go into war with the Undercity that he comes from. And I feel like he probably has to face the consequences of getting Sky killed at some point. Like, he'll probably confess it to someone. Maybe her family will show up asking where she is. I honestly don't know, but I feel that has to come back at some point. Another thing that I had completely forgotten about, or I maybe just never knew, is that apparently Vander is going to come back in the season, because again, someone must have pointed it out, but when I was rewatching this, I finally noticed that the doctor, mad scientist guy, whatever his name is, he has some kind of creature hung up like in the shadows, and the beard makes it look like Vander. And when I was watching a couple people's reactions to season 1, after I had gotten caught up, refreshed myself, some people were saying, wait, is that Vander? And then I watched this guy's video essay of season 1, and he says he thinks Vander is coming back too, because apparently there's a character in the League of Legends online game who has a connection to both Vi and Jinx and kind of looks like Vander does now, so people think that he might be coming back. Which on the one hand, I suppose that does have story potential, but I think I'm kind of with the guy who made that video essay I'll mention. I'll link it in the description if I can remember which one it was, but basically, you know, he's kind of the mentality, and I think I share this too, that sometimes it's okay for characters to just stay dead. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and as much as I still love Star Wars, I will be the first to admit that Star Wars has a tendency to bring back way too many characters from the dead. It's fine every once in a while, some of them are really well, but a lot of the times it's just kind of unnecessary and takes away from the emotion of their original death, so sometimes characters can just stay dead, you know? Something else I think could happen is that now that Heimerdinger is in the Undercity, I think that he is going to reunite with that mad doctor scientist guy. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, because I think he mentioned in season 1 that he used to work with Heimerdinger, but they went their separate ways. I think Mel's mom, because again, I'm assuming that she is going to die. I really don't see how she could survive because she was closest to the missile when it came in the window. So I think this is going to kind of push her over the edge, especially since she'll probably feel guilty about how she and Mel left things. She could kind of take charge of the war against the Undercity. I think some leaders from other parts of the world who are affected, because they all benefit from the Hex Gate technology, and the Undercity is consistently causing a problem to Piltover, other leaders and generals from around the world could come. Because what I appreciate, again, about Arcane Season 1 is how very character-focused it is, and so they keep all the attention where it needs, but that does at sometimes make the world feel a little small, simply because we don't get to see a lot of it. So if we see a little more of the larger world, which I'm forgetting what it's called because I'm not a League of Legends fan, but yeah, whatever it's called, if we get to see more pieces of it. One of my more tragic predictions is that Vi is eventually going to have to be the one to kill Jinx, because they've basically made it clear at this point that she's either beyond redemption, or if she just has too much to answer for, and with her madness and the, what's it called, shimmer affecting her even more, she may just be too far gone, and it would be the most tragic outcome if Vi has to be the one to do it. Savika could take Silco's place into the Undercity. Not that season 2 really has to have one definitive main villain, because now there could be even more factions, but it's a possibility. Jace's mom could take a more active role. She would be a good one to react to her son's death. I think an actual mage could show up. You know, they've been trying to harness the arcane with technology, so maybe someone who actually practices it could get involved. Echo could be the one leading the underground, or at least he'll continue leading the Fireflies. Piltover builds its own weapon to attack the Undercity. They were already kind of implying that. So yeah, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm forgetting, but that's pretty much everything I can think of just from a quick brainstorming session. All right, guys, I may be forgetting something, but that's really all I can think of to say for now, and we've all been waiting many years for this, so I guess we should just hop into it. So without any further ado, Arcane Season 2, Episode 1. Let's go.
You can't change her.
I have to try.
There is still good in him. I can turn him back to the good side. I have to try. All right. Episode 1, Heavy is the Crown. I'm not ready for this, I'm not. I thought I was, but now that I'm actually here, I'm not. Oh, okay. Cannot believe they actually survived an explosion like that. Okay. Who's alive and who's dead? Oh, Jesus. Oh. Yep. She's taking charge. Oh. And Victor was the one who told him to destroy that, but now he's gonna use it? Oh no. Oh no. Is he gonna be like completely okay. Let's see how the intro is different. Oh! It's not statues anymore. Wow. Okay, so that was all a lot to take in. First off, new intro. I mean, I assumed they were going to update the intro, but I figured they would keep the same general style with like all the statues and, you know, because that again makes it feel like a legend, Arcane League of Legends. But I don't know, like this new intro seems so simple, but it's almost really effective because it's like, okay, so the intro of season 1 was kind of a teaser, like with images that you didn't fully understand at first, gradually being chipped away to show all the players on the board. But now that this is season 2 and we actually understand all these characters, really showing them and showing them like at their most vulnerable, simple way, it's like almost really effective to show what the tone of this season is going to be. So I don't know if I like it more than the intro to season 1, but I get it. And maybe it'll grow on me a little more and I'll have to go through and like check the details because it seems like there are some decent foreshadowing. I hope it's not that whole mask thing is not saying that Victor's going to like become a full-on villain because that would suck. And right off the bat, I was completely wrong. I thought that they were going to really go full in on the explosion killing everyone except maybe Victor, because again, the changes he started making to his body could have protected him. I thought for sure at least Mel would definitely die since she was closest to the window, but I'm not upset that I'm wrong. It's just I thought that killing more of them would have been more emotionally impactful and could have opened up more opportunities. But at the same time, I do understand that killing too many main characters at once could make it a little harder to transition into the second season. So I'm trying not to be upset simply because I was wrong. It's because it's not the way I thought it would go down and just try to see what they do with it. But, you know, they did at least kill off or seriously injure a few of the council members, and Caitlyn's mom is dead, which is really going to have the greatest emotional impact because she was right there. She could have stopped Jinx, but she didn't. I hope she really doesn't blame Vi for this and get mad at her for not stopping her sister when she could have. And yeah, Victor did survive, but just barely, and because he wasn't forthcoming enough with what happened to Jace and why he wanted Jace to destroy it. Now Jace is using that thing to save Victor, which is probably going to have major consequences. And, you know, I guess it does make sense to keep Jace alive at least, because I don't think the series really has definitive main character, but, you know, I think the closest we get to main characters, at least on each side, like Undercity side, Vi is the closest we get to a main character, and Piltover side, Jace is the closest we get to a main character. So keeping him alive probably does make sense, especially if we're going to war. But again, all I'm saying is that it would have been interesting if they had gone full out and really committed to almost everyone in the council being killed off at once. But, so yeah. That's where we are. We've finally at least seen the initial aftermath, and I'm guessing things are only going to get worse from here. I wonder if we're going to get another time skip at some point in this season. I imagine we will. It could be effective, but, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. All right, let's continue. Oh, Jesus. Oh, wow. They experiment with a lot of great animation styles in this show. Yeah, imagine how much conflicting like she probably feels she could have stopped it if she had just accepted that Powder was gone. I can't even imagine how horrible it would be to be in that position. It's like, you obviously don't want to look at your dead parent because they're dead, but at the same time, if the coffin is literally closing like that, you also know this is the last time you're ever going to get to lay eyes on your parent at all, and so you have to look. Wow. Yeah, they are really going all out with this. This is why I'm really glad they took their time and didn't try to rush getting this season out, because clearly the animation benefited from it. Oh, who's in the wheelchair? Oh.
We nearly extended sovereignty to the creatures who did this. There will be no more fairy tales of peace until we scour our basement of its demons.
God, and man, I know that, like, the subject matter of this show always hits hard regardless of what year it comes up, but given some real world current events and conflicts going on, like, I imagine that some words and some actions in the season are going to hit even harder for some people. Yeah, first off, I like that this guy was mostly just a background character in season 1, but it seems like he might be getting a large role. And, like, I mean, I do feel for him. Nobody should have to go through that regardless of who they are, but clearly he's learning the wrong lesson from it.
I thought it prudent to solicit the advice of such an experienced veteran.
Pin the attack on Jinx. Post a reward too substantial to ignore.
Our healing can only begin once she's been brought to justice.
Oh. So this is interesting. It's like I thought that, you know, they would definitely want her dead and that Vi might be in a position where she has to kill her, but, like, no, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Now they would, like, kind of want her taken and alive so that she can actually, you know, stand trial and be held accountable for what she did. I mean, I'm sure they might execute her after that, but it'll be, yeah, this is an interesting route.
2-1. We invade.
It's imperative you present a unified front to the public, whatever your personal feelings.
Such force must be a final resort.
Agreed.
Then it's settled. 2-1.
Oh, God. Okay. I do appreciate this. Part of me was wondering is that people would overreact so much that it would be immediate war, that they might even do a time skip right away, and, like, the entire city, both Piltover and the Undercity, have, like, become even more divided with, full-on war zone with only a few safe areas. But I'm glad that they're like gradually continuing and making it a little more realistic to show that not everyone is completely unreasonable. But yeah, they're definitely building up to something big. Because that's the thing, I don't fully know how to make predictions because I've never played League of Legends. I don't know exactly what kind of game it is or how you do it, so I don't really know anything about the lore or can't make predictions the same way players could, so I purely just have to take it based on this show and what I know about storytelling in general. Oh. Yeah, and I wasn't even thinking about this. If her dad wasn't really on the same page with her mom with like handling family affairs, now Caitlyn has to step up and, do the very thing that her mom always wanted, but she never wanted to do.
Your mother left this to you.
The Kiraman key? No.
Hey.
Okay. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure at least subconsciously there has to be a little bit of resentment, but I like that at least for the time being, Caitlyn is not being like her dad and blaming Vi just because she tried to help the sister who ultimately did this. I'm sure they have to butt heads at some point because that is kind of what they did in season 1, but I like that they're not giving up to that trope. It's like, oh gosh, I love you, but I'm just so mad at you, we can't be together. But anyway, I'm interrupting a very emotional moment. In fact, I'm gonna rewind because that was really beautiful. Again, I'm sorry to keep interrupting this, but just imagine how much that says. It caught my attention that even when she was staring at her mother's corpse, she could not bring herself to cry or show an extreme amount of emotion. Not even to her dad, the only person that she feels she can open up to, truly, is Vi. Just imagine how much that says. It's it's definitely cute when they do all the flirting stuff and when they have overt romantic moments, but this stuff is what really shows how close two characters are. And all right, this time I'm going to rewind it and I'm actually going to watch it and I'm not going to talk over it.
Please, I have to help. You can.
Oh. I think I did see this in a thumbnail or I maybe saw a comment somewhere about Vi becoming an enforcer, but I tried to let that go out of my mind just in case I was interpreting it wrong. But not. God, can you imagine that? I meant to comment on this at the very beginning. I love the parallel between the beginning of season 1, episode 1, and season 2, episode 1, that it basically starts with characters walking through a devastated scene and explosions, but this time instead of, a rebellion being quashed on the bridge, the people of the Undercity suffering, this time it's an attack back at the Council of Piltover. So I liked that parallel. And gosh, who would have thought that it would come full circle? The very beginning of the series shows Vi watching enforcers kill her parents and looking like monsters, and she despised them. And the way she used to talk about, to Powder, someday this city is going to respect us, I thought that she was going to be the one to, really, fight them specifically and maybe even verge a little close to villainy for a while. But then that never came to pass, and now here we are, and, she actually is close to an enforcer and might even just temporarily become one in order to hunt down her own sister. You see what I'm talking about with this story being so excellent and things coming full circle and rhyming like poetry? I mean, I know it's become a meme at this point because George Lucas is it's like poetry, it's so that it rhymes, but no, seriously, when it is done right, making parts of your story rhyme like poetry really can make it stronger and not just cool. God, we're only 10 minutes into this and I can't stop gushing about how good it is. I mean, wow.
I watched them kill my parents. Do you have any idea how that feels?
Yes, I do. I thought you were on our side.
You didn't think at all.
This is the perfect way to get the conflict started in a season. Put all the characters in impossible situations where they have to make a choice, but neither choice is really the right answer. And either way, their actions are going to have consequences.
Hey, watch it.
Hello. New character, old character. This guy is the way, like the tunic he's wearing, his beard, his physique. Could he be related to Vander? Could he have actually been the one we saw last season and he was just a red herring to make us think that Vander was coming back? Or maybe that will still happen and it'll have even more drama because like his brother or cousin is coming? I don't know. This could just be an entirely new character and I'm overthinking it, but I like to speculate.
How is he?
Same as before. Breathing. Pulse is consistent. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, don't do that.
He was right next to me. How does the explosion do that to him? And I just walk out without a scratch.
Did Victor shield him? Did he like somehow use his new body or abilities to protect Jace? Oh my god, Victor. Which, I mean, I guess I get that. Like, Victor was suicidal not that long ago, and he probably feels extremely guilty about getting Sky killed, so he probably couldn't bear to see the same thing happen to Jace. Like, could Victor be the one who maybe protected all of them from the explosion? Is that why any of them are alive? That would actually make a lot of sense.
My mother's entered the game. I won't let them corrupt your dream.
Again, everyone has great character development in season 1, but I came to appreciate her a lot more in this most recent rewatch because I love how her time with Jace helped change her. Because at the beginning, you know, she mostly motivated him because, like, for mutual benefit, because it not only helped her, but it, you know, she pushed Jace to achieve his highest potential and therefore helped the city as a whole. But it's actually funny that he's putting his head in her lap right now, because I think that moment in season 1 where he did the same thing when Victor was sick in the hospital, I think that's when their relationship started to change, because he said, nothing feels impossible when I'm with you. I think that's when she started to realize that she can not only manipulate people and not only push them to be the most productive version of themselves, but like she actually can truly inspire people and be there for them in their darkest time. And that's when you kind of started to see her soften a little bit and decide to start changing things. So yeah, and you can still see that reflected here. It's like, it's not just about using Jace anymore or pushing him to be extremely productive for like their mutual benefit. It's like she genuinely cares about him, and like he in turn inspired her to, you know, want to do the right thing. And, you know, I just think that's really beautiful. I mean, God, this show just handles love and intimacy so well. I mean, even back when she was basically just manipulating him, like, he truly trusts her, like, and sees her as absolutely perfect, you know, basically no matter what. And, you know, like, I get it. Like, if I was with someone like her, I'd probably feel the same way.
She hides it admirably, but the poor girl's in so much pain.
Yeah, be there for your friend, man. Why is this animation so good? Seriously, this is what I give Arcane credit to. Like, the animation is so fluid and detailed that it evokes a sense of realism with its characters, yet it's still very stylized. And like this episode in particular, showing how they can like keep the main characters in the foreground, but the backgrounds can experiment with all different kinds of animation styles, and it still fits. I can't even imagine how much work and coordination it takes to make a series like this, but they pulled it off. Oh, I also watched this really great video essay too about how Caitlyn and Jinx are really good foils to each other, both in their backstory, their design, and the choices they make. Again, if I can remember which one it was, I'll link to it down in the description.
Mother and I used to come here when we needed an escape. One of the few places we never argued. I see Mother when they found her. But then there's Jinx laughing. I want to tear that laugh from her throat forever. Then I see Vi. I asked her to put on a uniform. Suffice to say, she declined.
Vi, wear a badge.
Don't get me wrong, I definitely want to see more of Vi and Caitlyn, but I also kind of want to see more of Vi and Jace too, because I thought that they made actually a surprisingly good team and had some, good back and forth jabs at each other. So, yeah, I want to see them team up more.
Hextech may keep us alive, Jace, but it's not what will save us.
Again, I like how they're not disrespecting and assassinating Caitlyn's character. Like, they're treating her with nuance, and kind of the three characters she's thinking of perfectly represent that. On the one side, she's grieving for her mother. On the other side, she hates Jinx. And so both of those things, the memory of someone she loved and the memory of someone she hates, both of them are ironically contributing to her desire to maybe take some hasty action. But then you've got Vi, who's kind of somewhere in the middle. It's like, she clearly loves Vi, but she's also frustrated with her. So that's helping give her some balance and perspective. So again, they could, gradually build to Caitlyn making a wrong decision, but I like, at least for the time being, she's not using her grief as an excuse to be the worst version of herself. So I respect that.
May, join the Peanut Patrol.
I like peanuts.
Vi?
Who's this?
Junior Officer Nolan. Maddie.
I'm really trying to think. This is probably a character in the first 3 episodes of season 1. Think. Nope, I can't think of it.
It's written on your face. Then she threatened to withdraw her family's funding.
And again, that this topic in particular is really going to be, rub some people the wrong way, or at least be controversial and, open some discussion, because, the subject of police brutality and defunding the police and what role they should play in society has become even more prevalent, especially I can say in the US because I live here. So since they're, now tackling, should someone who has hated enforcers her whole life actually join up with them because they're her best means of preventing something worse, going to be really interesting to explore. But then again, that's what this show has always done well. It's tackled complex topics, but, been honest about both sides, but also, analyzed it from different angles, which is, what a good piece of art should do. Who is this guy? Yeah, I'm more inclined to trust the enforcers who are not wearing the scary masks. I know they serve a purpose if you're going down into the city where people from Piltover might have a little more trouble breathing than people who live down there, but the masks are scary, man. Stop wearing them. Oh, no. Savika?
Awful, isn't it?
I feel like one of those people is Savika, but I
Losing
couldn't.
a loved one.
Oh, that's right. Oh, crap. Because now that Silco's dead and he's not in charge, there's no one to keep any of the other crime lords from the Undercity. I didn't expect to see her again because she was, even though she lost her son, she was a relatively minor character. Oh, no. Please don't kill Mel. It's I know I said, I changed my mind, okay? I know I said I would have preferred if everyone on the council, except maybe Victor, got killed because it would have been more emotionally devastating that way. But now that they've revealed that some of them are alive, Mel included, I don't want that to happen anymore. don't get my hopes up and then blah, 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 blah. Fuck, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna watch it, even though I don't want to. Jesus! I really did not expect to be... I didn't expect her to be the one to take charge of the Undercity and, like, become maybe the main villain, but, you know, if they can expand on her character properly enough, I guess I'm okay with it. Oh, having a Bane moment. Yeah. Help your girl, Vi. Here's Johnny. Oh. Okay. Seriously, who are you, dude? Are you related to Vander?
For my son.
Oh. God, and the irony of her being taken out the same way her son was. Ugh.
We both know that they have to kill you now. You'll just have to imagine the fire.
About the whole no guns thing, I'm not sure I feel as strongly about it as you do.
Maybe Jace is the only one who knows how to use it properly. Nice. Brutal. Is that it? Okay, not quite done yet.
It's smaller, but you never fill it.
Oh. Interesting. This is the closest thing they have to the internet, I guess. Heavy as the crown.
They must have had help from someone up here.
We can't. This is a closed council meeting. Who let you in here?
I am a decorated officer, leader of House Kiraman. Address me with respect, or keep your mouth shut. I will lead a strike team into Zorn with 3 objectives. Locate Jinx, dismantle Shimmer, and neutralize any agents still loyal to Silco. We've got a few surprises of our own.
Oh, wow. Now are we done? We're still not done. Is that like a bear trap? Oh, that the doctor guy? A wolf? I think they said a wolf-related character was coming in this season, possibly Vander. Are we done? Okay, now we're done. Jesus, oh my god. Ugh. And I'm so conflicted on how to feel. I mean, on the one hand, I'm pumped to like see the characters all getting together and getting ready to go in and kick ass, but at the same time, again, this is the impossible situation. On the one hand, you know, these people from the Undercity are such a clear threat now that they really don't have any choice but to take action. But at the same time, their overt missions and actions to maintain strict order and basically abandoning the people of the Undercity when they needed them is what caused this problem in the first place, so they really have no choice but to do something, but it's also gonna just continue the same cycle in the first place, so yeah. But again, this is the good way to start the conflict of a bigger story. Put the characters in an impossible situation where no matter what choice they make, there are going to be consequences. There's going to be conflict. It's an excellent start to the season. Okay, guys, so that was Arcane Season 2, Episode 1. Where to even start with that episode? I mean, yeah, in terms of showing the immediate aftermath of Jinx's attack, the consequences, I'm actually glad they didn't go the route I thought it was going to go. I thought everyone on the council would be dead. I thought they would fully commit to that. I thought that they would go to a full-scale war, like annihilating the Undercity right away. I thought that there might be a time skip to help get things into place again, but nope, they continued right from where we left off. More people survived than I thought, which is probably actually for the best now that I think about it, and they gradually showed all the consequences of the attack and gradually had the characters process it and then build up to the ultimate decision that they made, which was probably smarter from a storytelling perspective. So many just beautiful, gut-wrenching, heartwarming scenes with so many characters, particularly between Vi and Caitlyn. Still love those two. The episode had a chance to experiment more with different kinds of animation styles to affect the mood of a scene. Characters are falling into a place a little bit, like who's the main villain, or even if there is a main villain, what's the goal? I'm gonna probably be saying this multiple times, but this does a really good job creating conflict because the characters are in an impossible situation where there are basically no right answers, and whichever path they take, there are going to be consequences. And, you know, it seems that some characters like that blonde councilman, Mel's mom, characters who didn't get as much to do last season will have a little more time to do something this season. Other than that, it's like just really hard to think of everything because just so much happened in this episode, and I talked a lot about what I was thinking throughout the reactions. So what's gonna happen next episode? Again, seems that Vander may be coming back. Some people have said that there's like a wolf-related character in League of Legends who has a connection to both Vi and Jinx, and people are speculating that since we saw someone who looked like Vander in the professor's lab, now that he is finding some wolves, maybe he's gonna bring back Vander as this creature. And whether that works ultimately depends on how they execute the idea, I guess. And now we have this guy who Vi was bonding with, and seems that his facial hair, the tunic he was wearing, his physique, it almost seems like he's kind of related to Vander, or he just kind of gives me that impression, or maybe I'm reaching, I don't know. So yeah, the 3 goals that Caitlyn laid out were capturing Jinx, destroying Shimmer, and taking care of anyone still loyal to Cisco. So, okay, so it seems that they may not be going the one definitive main villain route that Silco kind of served last season, but now it's just going to be multiple people, which is probably makes the most sense to go that way, but I don't know, they could surprise us. Yeah, Vi becoming an enforcer, I never pictured that happening, and again, Echo's probably not going to be a fan of that. The people she knows are not going to be a fan of that. Oh man. And yeah, Victor is still transforming into something, and Heimerdinger and Echo, we still haven't seen them yet or how they're reacting to this whole situation. So yeah, I'm sure that there's more I could speculate on, more that I could review about the episode, but honestly, I'm looking at my screen and this recording is already an hour and a half, so it's gonna take me a while to edit it down, and I still think I want to record my reactions to episode 2 and 3 today, just so I don't accidentally see spoilers online. Like, if it were up to me, I would probably watch 1 episode a day this weekend, just so I don't rush through them too quickly. But again, I know that I'm gonna have to go online for stuff, and I don't want to accidentally be spoiled on episodes 2 and 3 because I didn't watch them, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and react to them today just to avoid that, and so I at least have the reactions ready to start editing them over the next few days. But yeah, it seems that Arcane Season 2 is off to a really great start, even better than I could have imagined. I honestly, and you always feel this with the final season, but again, I really genuinely don't know how they're gonna wrap up this story and all the plot threads and do it in a satisfying way in just 9 episodes, but this team has exceeded my expectations thus far, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But with that, I'm gonna turn it over to you guys. What did you think of Arcane Season 2, Episode 1? What do you think is gonna happen in the next few episodes? Whatever it is, whatever you think is gonna happen next, feel free to share your thoughts on that and on this episode down in the comments. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff so that you never miss one of my reactions. I also have a second channel called The Media Monologue where I occasionally do video essays, rankings, things like that, and I'm a contributing writer to the Star Wars beat at Screen Rant. In fact, checking out my Screen Rant articles might be beneficial because it turns out that the Arcane team at Screen Rant is actually short a few writers, so in the next coming weeks, they might actually be, the Star Wars team might be loaning me to the Arcane team because they really need writers. I don't know for sure that that's going to happen, but my editor told me they might, so yeah, you might get to see me write some Arcane articles too, so that would be fun. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for Arcane Season 2, Episode 2.